Alright, problem number 1 is to find the distance and midpoint and slope between these points. So for the distance, we got x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So in the problem for all of these, we got x1 and y1, x2 and y2. So we got 5 minus negative 1 squared plus negative 3 minus 6 squared. Sorry, in the problem it's actually negative 1, negative 6, so this is negative 1, negative 3 minus negative 6 from the review. So this turns out to be 6 squared plus 3 squared, which turns out to be the square root of 45. Now, there's two ways we could answer this. One of which is if we take the square root of 45, we're going to get approximately 6.7. If we need to get the exact answer, we can break this down to be 9 times 5 and 3 times 3. So we got 3 square roots of 5. So we have the approximate and the exact answer. In order to get the midpoint, we add up the x's and divide by 2. Add up the y's, divide by 2. So I got negative 1 plus 5 divided by 2, which is 2. And I have negative 6 plus negative 3 divided by 2, which turns out to be negative 9 halves, or we can have the point 2, negative 4.5, if they put the answer as a decimal. And finally, we got the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in our problem, y2 is negative 3 minus negative 6 over 5 minus negative 1. So that's going to be 3 over 6, which is really 1/2. Alright, so we're going to graph this, which has a center at 3, negative 2. Now the radius is going to turn out to be 4 for this circle, so I'm going to go up 4, down 4, right 4, and left 4. Doesn't look like much of a circle, because this point's way too high and these are too far away. But you get the picture. We're supposed to go 4 in each direction. Should have used the graph in the first place. That's a little bit better. Alright, for this next problem, they want the ellipse in regular form. So we got 12x squared minus 48x to put the x's together. And I got 18y squared minus 144y. And we got the equals negative 120 over here. After I get them separated, I'm going to factor out the 12, and I'm going to factor out the 18. So this turns out to be 8. Now we're going to complete the squares. So negative 4 divided by 2 squared is 4. So to my negative 120, I'm going to add 12 times 4. And then there was supposed to be a y here. Negative 8 divided by 2 is squared is 16. So I add 16 here, and I'm going to add 18 plus 16 over here. factor what's inside the parentheses. So multiplies up to be 4, adds up to be -4 is -2 and -2. 18 multiplies up to be 16, adds up to be -8 is -4 and -4. And when I total up the right side, I get 216. Divide everything by the number on the right hand side, which is 216, and it turns out to be 1. The x minus 2 squared turns out to be over 18. The y minus 4 squared turns out to be over 12. In this problem, we are going to start at 4, -6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go 4 to the right and 4 to the left. And I'm going to go 3 up and 3 down, because the square root of 9 is 3 and the square root of 16 is 4. And 4, -6, because those are h and k. So that was 4. And there's my graph for number 4. Alright, for this next problem, our center is going to be at 0, 0, because there is no. And we're going to go out 2. There is no h or k, or there is, they're just 0. We just don't have to write them down. And 3 up and 3 down, because the square root of 4 and the square root of 9. Now for a hyperbola, we're going to draw the little box, and we're going to draw the little diagonals. And then the last thing I need to do is graph it, is because the x squared comes first. This is a horizontal one, so it comes in and out like that, comes in and out like that, and that should be the point where it hits. Alright, last one for this video. We're going to put the y's together, and they're going to come first because the 16y squared is positive. Put the x's together, and it equals 356, because I add 356 to both sides. Factor out the 16. So we got y squared minus 6y. Factor out the 25. X squared plus 4x equals 356. -6 divided by 2 squared turns out to be 9. So I add 9 here, add 16 times 9 over here. 4 divided by 2 squared is 4. So I add 4 here, and I subtract 25 times 4 over here. Factor. Two numbers that multiply out to be 9 add up to be -6. Two numbers that multiply up to be 4 and add up to be 4 equals 400. Divide everything by 400. And we got y minus 3 squared over 25 minus x plus 2 squared over 16 equals 1. And that is standard form.